I'd like to preface this video by saying if I end up dead or stop uploading, I did not kill myself. But while we are on the topic of suicide, let's talk about Matthew Livelsberger. Remember when that Cybertruck blew up in front of Trump Tower? Yeah, that was Matthew. So in the weeks leading to Matthew's explosive suicide, he was rambling endlessly to as many people as possible about some gravity manipulating technology that the government supposedly has. Matthew, in his isolated state, everyone thinks he's a conspiracy theorist. Who the hell talks about random flying objects? Who does that? Me. So how does he get his theory about this gravity manipulating technology out? I don't know how or why, but he landed on domestic terrorism. The only person that died in this car explosion was Matthew. I think his motive behind it wasn't to harm anyone, but rather to just do something outlandish, something that would get on television so that he could have this note of his explaining the gravity manipulation technology. I mean, Cybertruck, Trump Tower, you see where I'm going with that? But the main thing that made Matthew really start going into this rabbit hole of gravity manipulating technology was the New Jersey drones. If you've looked at all into the New Jersey drones, you know that the government refuses to make any statement at all about them. This is probably because the government knows what the drones are, and it's just classified information. Anyways, the people on the ground in New Jersey, there have been claims of these drones having zero propulsion system whatsoever. None. They're just kind of like moving around in 3 dimensions without any propulsion. But it kind of does line up with what Matthew was trying to say in his suicide letter. Oh my god. Can I just say, this guy thought that this information was worth dying for. I just want to make that clear. Now, being a little kooky crazy myself, I know that propulsionless aircraft have been a hot topic for a couple decades. People who have claimed to have seen UFOs or UAPs describe pretty much exactly what Matthew and the New Jerseyans are describing. A propulsionless aircraft. When I say propulsionless, I mean it has no like rocket thrusters on the back or any signs that it's transferring one kind of energy into another. Now here is where I'm going to take a case of someone who worked for the US government and claims to have seen this same technological phenomenon. Bob Lazar. Yeah, keep your booing, I don't care. He worked at Area 51 with some pretty decent proof, and he's an MIT physicist. Hello? He's labeled as crazy, delusional. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of seems that way. The things that he talks about relating to the propulsionless aircraft in Area 51 line up shockingly well with literally every other example I've stated in this video. But oh, it's just all conspiracy theories, right? Oh, none of it is real. Guess what? In 2021, the US Department of Defense declassified video footage of UFOs and UAPs over the Pacific Ocean. Though it looks like it's moving in this video, it's actually just the F-16 that's recording the UAP moving around it, and it just makes it look like the UAP little white tic-tac thing is just standing still, just above the water. This video kind of, if it's true and real, and the US government isn't just trying to throw us off the track, this breaks our entire understanding of physics. Does it not? How can something not be affected by the Earth's gravity, move in a fraction of a second, and then take off faster than our fastest aircraft? And it's government sanctioned. The government declassified this, saying, hey, do you guys know what this is? We don't. But this was a couple years ago. I think they know now. Because it's sitting above the water, and it's moving at an instant, it kind of seems as if it's warping the space-time around itself. How is that possible? This doesn't seem like something any kind of matter that we know of as a species can inhibit. This simply just is not possible. In a simpler way of describing how it works, it kind of works like a Star Trek warp drive. How the warp drive works, it makes the space-time in front of the object smaller and the space-time behind it bigger, so that it creates a forward force. In reality, the object isn't moving at all, it's just moving through space-time. It's pretty confusing. Very confusing stuff. And it's a little too complicated for just a, I don't know, 10-minute YouTube video? But I don't know. Anyways, Bob Lazar claims that he knows the kind of matter that is used to produce this warp drive-esque property in these UFOs. Bob describes the properties in the same way I do, where with the space-time moving around the object being manipulated by the matter itself. But the description of how exactly it does that is very foggy. He says that the matter or the substance that's used to create this space-time warping effect is element 115, which, if you know anything about heavy elements, element 115 lasts less than a second before decaying. That means that it can only exist for about, at most, maybe half a second. That is not a stable substance. You can't produce any kind of exotic property from that. That's just not possible. Now, here's where things are going to get a little strange. The periodic table technically is not finished. The table of elements. You got 1 through 118 that have been currently awarded Nobel Prizes because of their proof of existence. Here is a periodic table of every possible combination of stable protons and neutrons, where the x-axis here is the number of protons, y-axis number of neutrons. Now, if you see at the end here, there's kind of like this big drop-off where nothing kind of exists. It's theorized at about 135 protons that a stable atom nuclei could technically be formed. This graph should technically be in 3 dimensions, accounting for electrons, but that's not here right now. It's actually pretty commonly noted by some conspiracy theorists that element 135 is this substance with these unique properties. If this exotic matter that has this gravitational properties does exist, maybe it's not even on the periodic table. Or these gravity manipulating properties do exist, and there is a lot of good proof for it. The question is, if element 135 is indeed stable, the question is, how do you get it to exhibit gravity manipulating properties? How do you even make it in the first place? I actually have a solution for this one. So, hypothetically, to get an element 135, you'd have to add up 82 and 55 to get element 137, and then accounting for alpha beta decay, those atoms would fall into 135. God, explaining this in like layman's terms is killing me. So to produce the anti-gravity effects of this exotic matter, you'd most likely have to make it interact with some quantum particle or with a sort of field. The Cybertruck bomber also mentioned that the US is not the only one with this technology. He also claims the Chinese Communist Party also has access to this, which would not surprise me at all. In fact, this that declassified footage of the UAP over the Pacific in 2021, that could have definitely been Chinese operated, for sure, hands down. What do you think? Am I just a mad, crazy, delusional scientist? Or does this hold some sort of weight? Hey, FBI, CIA, government agency, fucking hire me, dude. Jesus Christ. More videos are coming. I love you. Smash that like button. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hey, did you know that Luigi Mangione, his last name, if you translate it into English, means mansion? Luigi's Mansion! What else? Other than that. Bye. Lol.